Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Lene Show. Thank you for tuning in today. Today, I'm actually going to be talking about Jay-Z and Colin Kaepernick. Just in case you were not aware, this week the NFL named Jay-Z and his entertainment group, Roc Nation, to enhance the NFL's live game experience and to amplify the league's social justice efforts. And it also says that Jay-Z will contribute to and supervise Super Bowl halftime acts. A lot of you already know that. Well, matter of fact, just in case you've been sleeping under a rock, Colin Kaepernick, who was a former NFL quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, he is no longer with them. He chose to leave and become a free agent, and he's no longer with them because he started protesting back in 2017, I believe it was. He started protesting by kneeling when the no, I apologize. He started protesting in 2016. For back when, well, it's not back when, but he was kneeling to stand up for the brutality and the racism going against African Americans in the United States by police officers. So he would kneel during the national anthem. It was basically to shine light on the racial injustice and the systematic oppression in this country that we all know goes on, but apparently want to sleep under a rock or pretend is not what it is. So, as I stated, this week, Jay-Z and his company decided that they wanted to partner with the NFL. And in partnering with them, it's supposed to, I guess, shine light on what, to be honest, I don't even really understand the whole social injustice when it comes to the NFL part, because as everyone else has said, I don't know if you guys listened to The Breakfast Club, Ebro in the morning was talking about it, Charlemagne talked about it with Jay-Z. He had like a little interview with him. The issue was not with the NFL, as we all know. It wasn't with the NFL, and the 49ers actually did support Colin when he started kneeling. So the issue wasn't with them. The issue was when Colin decided to leave and not be a part of a team and become a free agent. No other NFL team wanted him. And he also felt like he was getting blackballed by those teams who didn't want him. Trump, of course, is the leader of all things racist, all things negative. We all know that Trump is he's the front man for anything that is degrading and belittling. So between him and the NFL and, of course, all the lovely white people who think that, Colin was being disrespectful to a song that is not meant for black people. I don't know who hears this song and thinks that this song is for African Americans, for minorities in general. I don't know. I don't even have time to go down that road. That song has nothing to do with us and it's not for us. So him kneeling is actually really appropriate. But he became a free agent and he had to file a grievance back in 2017 because he felt like he was being blackballed. And then he, some small settlement or secret settlement he got from the NFL, and now is no longer a football player. The issue that people who support Colin, whether you're black or white, Asian, whatever, the problem that people like me who support Colin are having with Jay-Z is when I listen to his response, when Charlemagne asked him, what does he feel about people who want to know how are you helping Colin, or how is he a part of this this move that you're making, and other reporters actually asked him the same question. What bothered me is that he said that, okay, Colin kneeling is what brought the attention, right? Which is true. I mean, he's not the only person who's brought the attention, okay? But we're talking about Colin. So Colin kneeling brought the attention, and he was protesting the social injustice and the racism against African American men and women, but mainly at this particular moment, black men who were being killed, not just by police officers, but they were killed by police officers, but also killed by people who thought they had the right to just take someone's life who was not in any way, shape, or form a danger to them. They thought they were a danger. That's what they say, but they were not a danger, right? So he's protesting this to put light on it. He's not the only person in the world doing it, but he's doing it, right? So now he does it. No one likes it. People are complaining. Some people are for him. Yes, thank you, Colin. Other people are like, this is the country. You're here. You need to respect this song. And, they're going on and on about it. So Jay-Z says that, Colin kneeling is what brought the light. Now, what's the next step? What do we do after? What's the action that happens after someone kneels, not just Colin, but someone kneels protesting? What happens after the protest? Because there are tons of ways you can protest, which is something he also said, and I agree. So kneeling is not the only thing that has to happen when you protest. But he did that, and so he's like, okay, what happens after? He was like, do we help support millions of people who are being affected, or do we only care about Colin having a job? And he was like, we're past kneeling. We're never past kneeling. That's first of all. Thanks a lot, Jay-Z. We're never past any protesting. We're never past it. We're never going to be past protesting, regardless of how the protesting is, until we no longer have to protest. That is the whole point of the protesting, because we cannot stop doing something until there's actual change. Him signing with the NFL, I need to know, how is that changing the social injustice and the racial injustice and the systematic oppression that has been in this country since they stole us. I need to know, what is he doing about that when it comes to the NFL? Because the NFL was not the issue. The NFL became an issue when they decided that they no longer wanted to have Colin be on a team. And he is not on a team right now. So I'm trying to figure out how him signing this $1 million deal with the NFL is helping that. So, okay, and now people are saying you have to wait and see what Jay-Z is doing, and he owns his own sport agency, so he does have clients who are on football teams, and it's in the best interest of him as their agent, as the owner of the company, to have sponsors and things. I get all that. All of that is good, but I'm trying to figure out, where is this helping with social justice? I need to know. I didn't really get that when I was listening to some of his interviews. I read a few articles before I decided to do my my podcast, and I just didn't hear it. I didn't feel it. I'm over here like, so what is the next step? Then my issue is that I'm going to use Rosa Parks as an example, because obviously anyone who's on earth should know who Rosa Parks is, right? So I'm going to use her as my example. We all know, and if you don't know, then it's really bad, but just in case you're also under a rock, we all know that in December of 1955, Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a bus to a white man. And it wasn't because she was tired physically. She was tired emotionally, mentally, everything. Just tired of the nonsense that was going on, right? The white man couldn't get a seat, we all know, and the bus driver told her to get up. She refused to get up, and she got arrested. Because of her sitting and not getting up for this white man, it sparked the civil rights movement to help protest her. It initiated that movement to go and protest, and people were killed and people were hosed down, but they kept it moving. But my thing is, I'm using her as an example as to Colin. So her sitting and not getting up sparked the civil rights movement to protest the fact that African Americans had to sit in the back of the bus behind the whites, right? That is what her doing that did. So that was the step. The step was her sitting there, now sparked that, and other people started protesting, and other people started sitting in the front of the bus, and Martin Luther King is marching for her. This is the steps, right? These were the steps taken after one woman decided that she was no longer going to be told where she could sit. So now Colin Kaepernick, right, 2016 decides I'm no longer going to stand and put my hand over my heart for a song that's not for me, for a song that's not for my people, for a song that's not for my ancestors, right? For a song that's not for Trayvon, right? This is what he decided. He decided he was no longer going to stand and hold his head up for a song that does not represent what so-called America is supposed to be. So what is the next step? After that, other people, celebrities, because the truth is there are hundreds of non-celebrity people out here doing the hard work, working and protesting and doing and trying to get reforms and trying to boycott. We're out here doing this stuff. I'm sitting here as a Black woman with a podcast trying to, voice my opinion and just talk about things that's personal to me, right? Things I've been through, and stand up for things. One of the big things, if you listen to my podcast, that I stand up about is domestic violence. I'm a big supporter of it, right? So as a supporter of it, as someone who has been through it, I can be a voice. I can help other women. So this is what Colin is doing, right? He's kneeling, not just for himself, not just for the celebrity, but he's doing it for me. He's doing it for my kids. He's doing it for you. He's doing it for those of us who maybe can't be heard because we're small. I'm a full-time mom working a 9-to-5 job. Ain't no $1 million over here, right? So here he is with this voice, someone who can be heard, who will be heard before I will be heard, right? Because that's what social media is about anyway, right? Listening to those with the money, listening to those with the popularity. Who cares about me? Who cares about the boy next door who is, jogging, to pay for his football stuff? Or who cares about the little girl selling lemonade, for the injustice or for sick animals, whatever. Who cares about the little people, right? So he's doing this. What is next? Next is other people joining him, right? So the 49ers did join him, right? Other players, other African-American and white players and Spanish players and Asian players, other people on the football team, they started kneeling for him, right? Then they started going to schools. Here are local, regular schools, not standing or kneeling, whatever they want to do when they hear this song that's not for us. And so the next step to me would be some kind of joint effort with the police, some type of joint effort with the government, maybe a president who's not motherfucking racist. Those to me are the next steps, but those are not the next steps happening. The next step that is happening is Jay-Z signs a deal with the NFL, which is supposed to help the NFL with social injustice efforts. You need help with that. You need someone to help you do that. And what exactly matter of fact, the next step would be, if the NFL wanted to show something, is to give Colin his job back, right? That to me would make sense. That's like Rosa Parks not getting up for that white man, and after Martin and everybody else who marched for her and protest for her, and some who lost their life, there were people who died behind defending her right to not have to give up her seat, for her to still sit in the back of the bus. What would have been the point of her not getting up? The point of her not getting up is saying that I don't have to get up. I have every right to sit in this seat, just like you have the right to sit in this seat. And I'm not going to get up because I am a black woman. No, I'm not going to get up because I don't fucking want to get up. That was the whole point. So Colin kneeling was so that black men won't have to fear walking down the street and somebody thinking that their Skittles is a gun, so that black men can walk down the street and just because they don't agree with what you're saying, they won't get shot, so that black men can walk into a fucking department store and everybody don't think that they're going to steal from the store, right? That is the point of him kneeling. Well, those are some of the points, but the point is that the kneeling is supposed to spark some kind of change. Something should come from the fucking kneeling. What is coming from this kneeling? What is coming from Jay-Z signing with the NFL? Is he going to help them realize that Colin Kaepernick having his job is fair, is the right thing to